Hi everyone, my name is Dion Rossiter. I'm the Executive Director of Science at Cal. It's so great to be here. Science at Cal supports the advancement of the public's understanding of science by creating opportunities for the UC Berkeley STEM community to share the wonder, the excitement, and the relevance of their research with the public. So because of the coronavirus pandemic, all of our programs have now moved online. So one of the things we're doing for you is we're talking to scientists at UC Berkeley about what's going on in the world and on campus. So I'm going to start today. We have Colin Warrens, and he is the lab manager and technician within the Harris Lab. We will learn more about what that means within the UC Berkeley the UC Berkeley School of Public Health. So Colin, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm just trapped like everyone else.
Yes. So I see you have the beautiful view of the SF Bay behind
Yes,
you, but
yeah, I
you're
was
home?
lucky enough to have the house in the clouds. So, and
Wonderful.
because we are in the Bay, and obviously, and it's actually the building that I work in actually has a nice view of the Golden Gate Bridge. We're very lucky about
Oh,
that, and so it's kind of appropriate.
perfect. So tell me a little bit more about who you are, what lab you're in, what you guys are up to. So just give
Okay.
the community an introduction about you.
Yeah. So hi everyone. As we all know, my name is Colin Warrens, and I work in the Harris Lab in School of Public Health. I completed my undergraduate studies in the health sciences and policy. And then right after, spent a year doing epidemiology in Colombia, focused on dengue research. That is the research that I currently do at the Harris Lab. And so the Harris Lab is in the School of Public Health, but it's really a kind of multifaceted lab with a lot of different focuses. And so basically the main focus, as it always has been on dengue and Zika, and there have been other viruses mixed in. But because of this COVID response and this pandemic, as a member of School of Public Health, obviously there's an obligation to kind of do something to help. And what the lab is actually famous for is Eva Harris has done an amazing job the last 20 years building a cohort in Nicaragua, Managua, Nicaragua, where she basically has a children's cohort that recruits kids for dengue surveillance to see if there's any infections and how they're doing, and to kind of track their health because dengue is a huge problem there and people are very regularly infected. And so what we have done is, and what she does in the lab is basically kind of focuses on all aspects of dengue research, whether it's molecular biology, virology, epidemiology, immunology. And the lab is kind of split into groups, but everyone has some sort of understanding of the different parts. And so it kind of creates a really cohesive environment where everyone's able to contribute to each other's work. And it kind of puts Eva Harris in her lab as like the forefront of dengue research, which is really exciting. And it's very exciting to be a part of that. Personally, I try to stay within the virology and immunology part of the disease because I did some epidemiology before and I have some experience, and I kind of wanted to move into that because I feel like having a holistic kind of understanding of a disease is the best way to kind of contribute, with my ultimate goal being moving into more public health focused work. And so in the lab, I'm the lab manager and technician. So part of my work goes into just maintaining the lab and the organization and helping make sure everything is smooth. And the other half is working as a technician in different research projects. And so I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of different things in the lab, and it's been really exciting and great experience.
Perfect. So I know you're working in these labs, these epidemiology lab, and everyone, I'm sure your friends and your family know the type of work that you do. So have people been reaching out to you? And I know I'm a earth scientist, and I've been getting a lot of questions simply
Yeah,
because I promote science and how do we reach the public. So I'm sure people
yeah.
are coming to you. Are they doing that and asking for questions and resources?
Yeah, so I guess I have been in contact with a lot of my family and friends, and I've been kind of making sure that I kind of correct a lot of the misconceptions that come up as much as I can. I've also been trying to be involved with the scientific community so I can actually help answer just questions online. And so one of those examples was kind of reaching out to offer to kind of be a part of this to help maybe like give a perspective of somebody that's working in the School of Public Health. And also I've been like creating some questions and answers so that people in the Berkeley faculty can kind of have a cohesive response if asked any questions. And I'm also part of some other groups that have questions being asked online. I haven't had as much chance to contribute as I'd like, but I'm kind of trying to be involved in kind of helping people understand what's going on. And so, yeah, my family, I mean, everyone's really concerned, of course. And so I've been trying to respond in a very like, to just by what I've been reading and seeing and how they can like kind of approach this problem calmly and in the best way possible. And I think right now everyone is doing a really great job in general.
Yeah. So if there's one thing that you could explain, maybe something that's come up time and time again, or something that really is like, no, this is not true. This misconception needs to get corrected, or something that you just want to share with the public that you find to be most important right now.
Yeah. And so I think one thing that I kind of appreciate in the lab is whenever something doesn't work, my postdoc, one of the postdocs named Scott, he always says like, it's not magic, it's something that's we are able to understand. And so I think that's one thing everyone needs to keep in mind, is that we're not dealing with something that's like in some sort of like world where we can't really comprehend. It's not magic. It's something that we can like put in effort and put our minds together to try to approach. And so that's what I always say to like family and friends. And right now what we're doing with the quarantine is really necessary to keep it away, and we can do things that are promoted and like things that are really like appropriate for in a public health response, like staying away from people, not meeting up in groups, trying to like keep the chain of infection really short, and also practicing sterile technique, which we do in lab as well, where you wear gloves and maybe you have a mask, maybe you wash your hands a lot, or use like wipes or ethanol to try to decontaminate things, like don't touch your face. And these things I think are really important. A lot of the things that I've been seeing in the news and out there as well, whether it's on Reddit or Twitter or Facebook, is a lot of people have these solutions that actually are kind of magic because you hear about these medications like chloroquine, where it's going to like cause all this like the severity of the disease to decrease, or all these like crazy diagnostic tests and how they're going to change everything. But in reality, it's not that simple. It's always like a process that you have to kind of respect, kind of the process of keeping the patient safe, the ethics, like how these drugs work. I mean, most drugs don't have 100% efficacy. That's just a fact. I mean, everybody kind of knows that there are side effects, there are problems with it. So it's important when you see like a diagnostic test or like a drug that's like really impressive, like to just look a little bit deeply into it to kind of understand why and what they're saying about it and what the professionals are saying, to get an understanding of it. These things all together will kind of add up to obviously like to stop this virus from spreading, and together we can do that. But it won't be an individual thing. It's going to be a group effort. And I think that's something that I've seen a lot of people do understand, but it can be really scary watching the news and reading Facebook and kind of hoping for something to just appear to save the day. But it might not be as simple as that.
Right. And it's going to take some time, right? All of these people working together. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's going to take some time, and it's hard to kind of say, oh, it's going to take this many months, that many months. It's really difficult to do. And I wish I could, and I wish a lot of people can, and some people would try to, but it can lead to false hope. But it could be sooner than you expect, and it could be later. I mean, there's a lot of promising things going on. I think once people have very good access to being tested, diagnosed, we can actually see a lot more improvement in like how our lives are, because that's the biggest problem. The biggest bottleneck is if you're feeling any symptoms, like you have to be able to go somewhere and get tested. And if you know that you have it, you can quarantine. Like, but everyone has to now, because we're not quite at that stage yet.
Right, exactly. So what are you hopeful for? This, like you said, a lot of people, it's easy to lose hope, but looking to the scientists and to what is happening in the labs and how there's a direct and immediate response from the researchers within your lab and within the labs around you. Are you hopeful? Are you, what kind of hope do you want to share?
Absolutely. I think that kind of the solution to this is going to come in kind of two phases, where the first phase is going to be a combination of some of these promising antiviral treatments being available for the medical care. And the important thing that people have to understand about that is because we're quarantined, these hospitals can kind of basically give the appropriate medical care to these patients in like a good space, in like the proper facility. And so that's why we're in, so that we don't all have to go. And a lot of these treatments are being tested. A lot of different ways to use these respirators are being tested. And then another part of this first stage is just to be able to diagnose everybody. And I think today there was an article actually out with Wired that was talking about UC Berkeley ramping up its testing. And so the IGI has done a great job to get some facilities in place, but it's very complicated to certify yourself as a diagnostic testing facility. So it might take a couple more, maybe days or weeks, I'm not sure, to ramp that up. But another thing a lot of people are doing is a lot of schools and research institutions are trying to do some testing to see how many asymptomatic and tests people are, like, cases there are. And so I think that another phase of that is just going to be to see what people have been exposed, which is possible, but it's very difficult to correlate that to immunity. So the first part is going to be these medical treatments, whether antiviral or other part of medical care, along with surveillance and diagnostic capacity. And then the next stage is everyone's hoping for this vaccine. And I'm not sure what timeline there might be. And Dr. Fauci has said 12 to 18 months, but that would be a long-term kind of goal for us to have this vaccine so everyone can get it and have access to it, and so that we can maybe have this virus stop its infection. And I think it's totally, people are very, very optimistic about that. So I think there's a lot of hope that we can kind of, once we're out of this, we can resume back to our normal lives.
Definitely. Well, Colin, we're going to end there. This was really, really great speaking with you,
Thanks a lot.
Somebody on the inside. So I want to let everyone know that you can learn more about Science at Cal programs, what we're doing in response to the virus, and how we're moving a lot of our programs online. And also, if you have any questions that you'd like answered by one of the scientists, you can actually submit them to our Ask a Berkeley Scientist campaign. And both of those things, learning more and asking a question, can happen at scienceatcal.berkeley.edu. So I want to thank Colin once again for being with us.
Yeah, thanks, Dee.
And thank you. Take care and stay healthy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dee. And everyone, please just kind of approach it day by day, and it'll be great.
It'll get better.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.